Tonight, Seth Rollins burns down the Firefly Funhouse, Tyson Fury has a dope shirt, and the draft continues. Shout out to Shorty Gable because the Monday Night Raw after show and AfterBuzz TV starts right now.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What? How's everyone doing out there in the internet land? My name is Flobo. We're slowing it down, the MacLish. Yo, night number 2, WWE Draft. How you living? Coming to you live from Denver, Colorado. It's the Monday Night Raw, and this is the Monday Night Raw After Show broadcasting live from North Hollywood, California. I'm being joined with the man himself, the myth, the legend, Larry Zbyszko of the panel, and the voice of All Elite Wrestling after the show right here on AfterBuzz TV, Mr. Jack Farmer.
How's it going? This is the first time ever pairing. First time ever. We've never done a show, just a dynamic duo.
You got it, man. It's an Iron Man match.
On our own. We're going to go all night long.
Yeah, so Jim, Alexander, and TK Trinidad are on assignment, and Evan is on the bump. It's all good. It's night 2 of the draft. So many things are happening. We're going to go more in depth with that just a little bit later. That's a tease for you guys. But up first, let's talk about how Raw ended. The Firefly Funhouse is no more. Jack, walk me through this. What's going on?
Dude, they should have abandoned this feud after Hell in a Cell. I think they botched it so hard at Hell in a Cell. They needed to just pretend like it never happened.
Yeah.
Stop doing it. Move them to 2 different other feuds and pretend like it never happened. I hated this whole thing.
But the thing is, the caveat is even though Bray's on SmackDown, this Crown Jewel, and they have to do something for the Crown Jewel, right?
They could have done anything else.
False Count Anywhere match in Saudi Arabia? Why not?
They're going to go to a tool shed, and Seth's going to bury the Fiend in another pile of tools, and it's going to be a no contest.
Okay.
The whole thing was so bad. There's certain things, like sometimes you tell a joke and the joke's bad and then you try to save it and you keep it going. No,
don't tell it to a comedian. That's my entire career.
You move on and you do something new. They should just, even now, they should just stop it. Just stop.
I've never seen you. Are you like angry, Jack? You're just like upset with this whole thing.
I am so disappointed. I am so frustrated. Yeah. The whole thing was a mess.
So, but you gotta say this. Having someone invade the Funhouse must have been kind of cool, no?
I get the concept. I get the concept. But you've already buried him. And now you're going to go and bury him more?
Yeah.
You're going to just beating him to death with a sledgehammer in the middle of the ring wasn't enough. Now you're going to go literally burn down the playhouse. By the way, in the most corny of acting and the corniest of lines, this was corny.
Okay.
This was multicolored Thanksgiving fake corny.
Damn, that's the worst kind of corn, bro. I hate that corn. That corn sucks.
The worst corn.
You're Seth Rollins. Your catchphrase is burn it down. How do you say that cool? I'm sorry. That's the way it is. I don't think it's corny. It's just on brand.
It's on brand corny. The whole thing was so bad. The Fiend's dead to me. He's done. I was a supporter of him. Fans of the show, you guys know, I held out hope for the longest time. It's done. It's over.
You just throw a pen?
I'm over. It's done.
Okay, well, the chat roll agrees with you. Zeno Hours says that the feud was a bad idea. I don't know why Dan MQ was talking about Master P in the chat. That's kind of weird. Coach Maine says turn heel on his Evangelina says, stop burning down Wyatt's cribs. Ramblin' Rabbit must have died like 20 times in the entire summer. So shout out to Ramblin' Rabbit for that. So yeah, I think that everything is without Crown Jewel. You don't really have like a main event match on the Raw side. So I think that's the way they're doing it. But you're right. I don't know where they'll go after that. You had Hell in the Cell, which is the top stipulation of the company, and the match had a stoppage. Fine, we accept this, but you're having a rematch. There's no stipulation that's on that level. I don't know where we'll go with that.
And you can't have the Fiend win because the Fiend's on SmackDown and they already have the WWE title, so he can't win the title there.
Right.
Because then Raw is going to be without a title. So you can't have him win there, which means great, we're going to get to see the Fiend lose again because that's just what Bray Wyatt does.
Wow, but Seth Rollins said he was going Fiend hunting. That's something he promised the fans and he made it happen.
The Fiend.
I'm going Fiend hunting.
It's
Be very quiet. I'm going to
it's Fiend season.
It's Rollins season.
Fiend season.
Rollins season.
Fiend season.
Rollins season.
Fiend season.
Rollins season.
Rollins season.
Wait. All right, so before we move on to this madness that's says Raw, Jack, you tell the world about Fiend season. I mean, tell the world about this AfterBuzz show and other AfterBuzz shows.
If you enjoy Fiend season as much as Seth Rollins does, and you enjoy this show as much as we enjoy being on it, we'd love for you to go ahead and leave a review, a 5-star review on iTunes. Ideally, leave a comment, click the like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And watch some of the other fun AfterBuzz shows. We also have NXT. We also have AEW. We also have SmackDown. We also do a really cool after pay-per-view show with George Hermosa running the ship there.
Total Divas, too.
Total Divas. Also Espanol. If you speak Spanish, we can do that. And if you don't speak Spanish, this is a good way to learn. Check it out. Give them a review as well. And enjoy all of us. And share the show. This is the biggest part. Share it with your friends. The more you share, the more viewers we have. And the more viewers we have, the bigger budget we get. We can do more fun stuff.
Yeah, I drink it all in club soda anyway. Shout out to people giving us reviews on the show. Queen Fan 50,000 on October 12th says, so good. Thank you so much for giving us your 5-star review. Greatly appreciated.
Speaking of comments, before we jump over to the next thing, something I would love to have everyone put in the comments is a few weeks ago, TK said that Jim was the Baron Corbin of AfterBuzz. I would love to see what everyone else thinks of the rest of us. What is our wrestler counterpart in the WWE? So if Jim is the Baron Corbin, I want to know who do you think Flobo would be? Who would TK be? Who would I be? Who would Christian Rosenberg be? Or Josh Tariff be?
He would shoot name, right? He's all Josh Tariff now.
So I guess he would be Fiend and Bray Wyatt because he's got 2 names. So, who would Gabby be? Who would Tom be? Who would George be? Who would everyone be? I want to know who you guys think.
This is a bad idea. This is a
really
bad idea.
No way this could go wrong. Who would Josh in the booth be? I want to know.
I would be Kevin Dunn in the booth right here.
Kevin Dunn.
You would be Kevin Dunn.
Flip the switch, Mr. Dunn.
I thought you'd be the anonymous Raw GM. Because you just come through as the voice, right?
That is a voice, usually telling you have bad ideas. But speaking of bad ideas, Jerry Lawler is in the middle of the ring for a contract signing because those things always go well. Braun Strowman against a dope shirt being worn by Tyson Fury. The shirt came out first, apparently. Talking about this match, this feud, how it all started, and really, what's up with that shirt?
The shirt was the most exciting part of the contract. This was probably the most lackluster contract signing we've ever had. Yeah. Nothing really happened. Some people are supposed to get beat up. They're supposed to be shenanigans and hijinks and flim-flam and all the good fun stuff.
Flim-flam and shenanigans?
I mean, it took everything Tyson Fury had to break that pin. Now I get it was a joke, but I don't know. The build to this match is really, I think, honestly, just seeing what happens with Tyson Fury and how he handles himself in a wrestling match.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't really get it. I mean, maybe something they could do to add some fun to it is if Braun was to beat Seth Rollins in under 10 seconds so that the title could be involved. I think maybe that might add some fun to it. That's a joke. I don't think they should really do that.
I'm all over you, man.
But
Jack GM.
I'm very crabby today.
Crabby Jack. Well, look what you started in the chat. People are saying that I'm like the Kofi Kingston of AfterBuzz. Josh just gets a little bit of that. You got a Sylvain Grenier reference. I remember that guy.
I'll take that.
No, I feel the same way about Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman. Like, I get the idea on paper. These guys are huge. Tyson Fury's a big hero. But to me, it felt like you were just telling me, yeah, this match is already signed. It's already great because we're in it. Like, oh, we know Braun is powerful. We know Tyson Fury's a boxer. Watch. Which, I guess if you're in Saudi Arabia, you're going to. But you haven't given me a reason to think that these guys really hate each other, right?
Yeah, the build-up seems silly. It really just comes down to Ziggler got thrown into the barricade next to Tyson Fury, which means I think fans all across the world should be crabby because it happens every single week.
True.
But
I
get it. It's a spectacle. I get all that. I don't. It seems like we're giving a lot of time to people, to these things, and I'm not getting a big build to it.
Is it because we kind of know it's predictable? Like, would you think that Tyson Fury's gonna take the L?
Right. I think that's where a contract signing would have made it more interesting. I think if Strowman was to slam Tyson through the table or something, or to do a move to him and put him down, then it would be interesting because you'd go, oh wow, something happened to him. He actually took a bump. That's crazy.
Right.
But as it is, okay, they're talking very minimal trash to each other, and I can't imagine Tyson Fury's going to lose this match. So it kind of seems like I don't really feel like we needed this time.
That's why I live my life. Minimal trash. That's
minimal trash.
That is my motto to myself. But moving on, we have the Viking Raiders, taking on the Rude and Ziggler tag team. The titles are on the line. Because it's a tag team match, player. Love it. Raw tag team titles on the line. We have new Raw tag team champions.
This was the right move, but I'm kind of bummed out about it.
Why are you bummed out about this?
I am bummed out. No, it's the right move. They should be the champions. They needed to win. I was just a big fan of Rude and Ziggler. And I'm glad that they're staying a team. I'm kind of bummed we're losing them to SmackDown. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
That's a tease, ladies and gentlemen.
We're teasing all day.
Tease.
Yeah.
But it was definitely the right move. They needed this. And what I love about this, I'm a fan of the Viking Raiders. They're undefeated.
Yeah.
And when you win a championship, the fun thing about that is it means at some point you got to lose it.
Yeah.
And so that means we know someone is eventually going to beat them, and it's fascinating to think who it's going to be. So I'm excited by this booking. I'm excited to see who steps up to face them, because it doesn't look like they're going to have a rematch with Ziggler and Rude, because those two are off to a different brand. It was the right move. I just really like Rude and Ziggler.
Riddle me this, Jack Farmer. Are the Viking Raiders the team to actually elevate the Raw tag team division, or are we just going to play hot potato like we've been doing the past 2 years? Because that's the question I have with this match. The match was great. They're the team to win it, but after that tag team turmoil match, which I have to assume they're going to retain, right? Is there anyone there that's going to make it like a feud worth having, or are our tag team titles just going to be just whatever?
This is the mistake with the tag team division. There's never going to be one team that elevates it. You're going to need a couple of teams that are pushed and given time to look like stars. Otherwise, it's just going to be the Viking Raiders running through team after team after team. But if you can build a mid-card level tag team, or a tag team division, so that you can keep building around that, then it matters. But as it is, I don't know who their next opponent would be, who the next challengers would be.
Right.
Probably Street Profits after.
Yeah. AOP isn't ready yet, so I would say them.
Yeah, and because AOP hasn't, if they just come in and have a title feud, then that's going to feel rushed.
Agreed.
So I think it's probably going to be the Street Profits is the next feud for them, which I think would be awesome, because they've already put on great matches in NXT.
Well, I want to stop here because we're talking about Jack's idea of having doppelgangers here, and someone, Michael Blake, actually said Virgil, that I'm the Virgil of this panel. This is why I'm going to rate. I'm turning
Everybody has a price.
No, I can't. I can't do it. No, I'm kidding. No, that's a terrible idea. I won't never be Virgil. But again, after that, we do have another tag team match. Waiting for that drop, baby.
You know it's the Mac Military.
Yeah!
Coming to get it on.
One of the more confusing matches of the night. Asuka, Kairi Sane, the tag team name I never say on air, taking on Natalya and the person that she put through a table, Lacey Evans. Now, I want to say this. If I'm Lacey Evans and someone put me through a table and said, hey man, you want to help me out next week? My answer is no. And not only that, she took the loss. She took the L. She got pinned tonight. What's up with that?
It's ridiculous that they keep on doing this to Lacey Evans, burying her completely. I agree. I think she needed to be a face, but just to randomly suddenly be I'm now teaming with the person I've been feuding with for 17 years. I think it's time. That was random to me. I did love the Kabuki Warriors. I'll say the name.
Please.
I'll say it for all of us. But it's this weird random Lacey. I don't get it.
What did you?
I'm crabby. I'm crabby.
Okay, but here's the thing: how is Asuka is more changing? She has like the Miss I thing. She's getting more and more to like her Kana persona from back in Japan. How are we liking the new tag team? Are they gelling better now without Paige as heels? Tell me more about that.
I actually really love the Kabuki Warriors. I think they're doing great as heels. If you had told me or said to me, "Hey, we're going to try making them heels" a few weeks ago or a month ago before they won the titles, I would have said, no, they're too likable, because they're super likable.
Yeah.
But I'm digging it. I'm digging the new face paint from Asuka. I'm digging the vibe that they're coming out with. I think they're great. And I think they're really good for the women's tag team division.
Yeah.
Because they're super interesting. I don't think Paige should come back to them at this point, because I think they're better off without Paige.
Right.
Paige is great. I like Paige. I think she just should be doing something.
Does that mean that because Lacey Evans took the loss, are they going to like go back to their feud? Is it a thing where it's like, well, that's the end of that story, or is Lacey Evans going to just disappear into darkness? I guess she is, because she got drafted to SmackDown.
She's on SmackDown, so
okay.
she's
so it was
leaving.
totally moot. Okay, that makes even less sense.
So that I think think that's why she took the loss, is because she's not going to be on Raw anyways.
Yeah.
But it's just another loss on someone that could be such a star. I think their pairing was really more of they don't have any women's tag teams, and they're the only two other women that have been buddying up in any way recently. Because who else would it be? Like Ember Moon? That would be a random pairing too.
But that would make sense to the person that you hate coming out and being like, all right, let's do it, with no explanation.
But I guess if Amber, like, who was drafted, because you can't have someone who wasn't drafted, right? That would be weird. That would be even more weird, because, well, why are you tagging with someone who's not even drafted?
Well, yeah.
Because then the only other people she could pick to have in the match with her would be Cross or Bliss, but then that would be a weird thing as well.
Available. I mean, she did the 24/7 thing a couple weeks ago. So.
But she wasn't drafted.
She wasn't drafted. Well, anyway, maybe we'll think about that later. Moving on, we had Becky Lynch against Charlotte match tonight. Sasha Banks was supposed to be in this match. Got pulled about 4 hours before showtime, with the winner getting the first pick of the draft. Obviously, it had to be a Raw side to win this match.
Right.
Charlotte gets rolled up 2 times in 3 days. Is that a problem? Or just kind of a thing we're just saying, don't worry about it. Wins and losses don't count.
Wins and losses don't count. I think we knew that Becky was going to win this for multiple reasons. Obviously, she's the champion. Obviously, she's going to win until the video game comes out. I keep saying it. It keeps being right.
It's a non-title match. She can lose a non-title match.
No, not while not before the game comes out.
I don't buy that.
When has she lost?
She hasn't. I'm just saying that doesn't mean that she has to win.
I feel like the only way that she can actually take a loss if it was through disqualification at this point.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
bro.
As long as that video game is waiting to come out, they're gonna make her look strong.
Yeah.
And again, Raw had to win. I think there was a lot of things with this draft that, and not to spill too far into the draft talk, but there's a lot of. I actually liked the draft. I like what they did. I like the idea of it. I liked how they tried to present it as a real sporting event.
Better than a shake-up for sure.
But there was so many things where it seemed like they didn't think it through. Like the 3 picks to 2, and then having matches to see who goes first. Raw has to go first.
Right.
Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Right.
And so there's a lot of things like that where I think matches like this kind of suffered. But I did like that it was at least a clean finish as opposed to Friday. It was a real win, and losing to Becky doesn't hurt Charlotte.
Yeah, I agree with you about the draft things. My biggest pet peeve about the draft, and we're going to the picks today, is that if you're going to show me the war rooms of USA and Fox bickering and fighting to find out who is there should be someone selecting on their behalf and having the other room react. Like, is everyone just emailing Stephanie and she's printing it out in her card? She goes to Kinko's, print out the card, walk over out to the arena and goes, they select Aleister Black. And I'm happy, like, yeah, my thing went through, like an email or something like that. I like the idea when the old days when you had like Vince or Ric Flair going back and forth and being like, all right, Rick, I picked this person to screw you over. You know, that to me was making a lot more sense than having someone read it. That's not how drafts work, I don't think. You know?
Yeah, because that would imply, because it's silly when Stephanie's reading the 5th pick.
Yeah.
And they're still going, yeah, we got him. Well, you knew you got him. You put your 3 picks in.
Exactly.
So but that's one of those things where I think when you drag it out over 2 shows, that's when you start to notice those things. If they had done this all on Friday, I think they would have gotten through most of it before we started to realize things like that.
Right.
But then when you have a weekend to think about it and talk about it, you go, wait, how is that working? What's and I think splitting up the like who was available, I get why they did that, because obviously they don't want the draft on Raw to feel like all the leftovers.
Right.
But that was explained really weird, and at least I didn't even know it until after SmackDown was done. For me personally, I missed it when they said it. So personally, when SmackDown ended, I was like, they didn't draft Rollins, they didn't draft Brock, they didn't draft all these people. Then I was corrected on Twitter, but it's just weird how that was set up. But I do like that they tried to present it as an actual draft. Overall, I like the idea of the war rooms. I think that was kind of fun because that's what football does.
It should be actual people, though.
It should be actual people, though, and they should try to do something that at least makes it look like they're reacting real time to each other.
Right. It did seem like they were kind of on a loop. That Fox robot Cletus, walking around in the background being all murderous and stuff like that.
Yeah, I thought that was weird myself. It's just like, why is there a CGI robot in the war? Right. Like, what is the purpose of that?
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't draft him. Yeah. He would have been my first pick.
I'm going to Crown Jewel. Speaking of drafts, man, Andrade moves over to the red brand with Zelina Vega in a match against Ali. Mm-hmm. It was fine. Shows what Andrade can do. He gets to win, but he's cooled down a bit in 2019, right? So the idea now for Andrade, if you still got stock in him, how is he going to come around that corner to be that next level elite star? You and I both think he is.
I love him.
So what's up? What does Andrade have to do?
I love him. He needs to be featured regularly, and he needs to get wins regularly. I think if he has more matches like this, I've said before, I've never seen a bad Andrade match. True. Every one of them is great. I think Zelina Vega's great on the microphone. I think he has a great look, but he needs to start, as Evan would say, he needs to get dubs.
Get them dubs.
He needs to get dubs, and they need to be meaningful dubs. It can't be winning over guys who we don't see on TV very often or people who are on a lower level. Yeah. He needs to start getting big wins against big names and start pushing himself towards that at least upper mid-card.
Sure.
I mean, I love him. I could see him at the top of the card, but if we're being realistic, I think we need to start seeing him beat some people to get to that upper mid-card level. I think he needs to hold a title. I think he needs to hold it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think we need to start, the commentators really need to start pushing him as a technical, great wrestler who can out-wrestle people, plus having someone on the outside.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Andrade has so much potential, and he's done some flashes of brilliance. NXT stuff is pretty cool. Ali himself acquitted himself well. He's becoming more and more like he earns his spot there. I mean, maybe he's come up short in bigger matches, and I know we always play the what if game. What if he was in that elimination chamber? How far would he go? What's his potential? I personally think he's going to be a mid-carder for the next maybe year and a half, but the fact that he's on TV being the positive, well, I forgot what his nickname is, but the whole light thing, chasing the light, follow the light, it's all good.
The harbinger of the light.
The harbinger of the light. That's exactly the point. Is
little wordy.
But seriously, nothing's worse than the charismatic enigma. That is to me the bottom of nicknames. Because what does that even mean?
That's an embarrassing nickname, too.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on to Aleister Black, also drafted to Raw. Speaking of Zelina Vega, has a match against Eric Young. Eric Young, what happened, bruh? What happened? This reminds me of when they brought back Eugene for a match, and it wasn't the same Eugene. It was a little slower Eugene, and it wasn't doing the move, kind of like, on the love handles, attacking catering. What's up with Eric Young in his match against Aleister Black?
Eric Young, he feels a bit like, to me, like he understands where he fits in the company now.
Yeah.
And to me, unfortunately, I was an Eric Young fan. I used to watch a lot of TNA. I was a big fan of him when he was over there. It feels a little bit like he realized, look, if I'm going to be an enhancement guy, then I'm not going to dress up crazy and work on a character and try to do all these things if I'm just going to be the enhancement guy. That's what it looked like to me. He looked like he came out saying, I'm the enhancement guy.
Is that letting go? Is that giving up?
I mean, I think he's still working. I think he's still, but I think and again, I don't know the guy, but looking at it, to me, from the outside looking in, it looked very much like he said, look, I'm not going to stay up nights trying to think of ways to develop my character anymore, because it's just not going to happen.
Sanity was 2 years ago. That to me blows my mind. 3 years ago when they were most effective, but 2 years ago was as late as we've seen this group, and now it's just, we always talk about guys like him in the back, like EC3 and stuff like that. Give him a shot, but then you see someone coming out there looking like enhancement talent, we just go, dang. But Aleister Black looked good. I mean, that new choke out finisher is pretty much getting over. He's definitely a multiple threat. Hopefully on Raw he has some legs.
I'm a huge fan of Aleister Black. I want him to get used a lot, and I'm glad that he got picked super high in the draft. I loved him on NXT. I think he could definitely be a huge building block. He's my favorite striker of wrestlers right now when it comes like kicks and knees and things like that, because it always looks like it just kills people when he hits people, and I like that finisher. I like the little dragon sleeper behind the back thing. I like it when people come up with a new finisher or a new submission, but it's not overthinking it where they're trying to do all these weird things.
It's my modified triple crab leg. I also think that they probably won't do this every week, but it'd be kind of cool to have them on certain attraction matches have Aleister team with Ricochet again. That'd be kind of a cool callback to when they first got called up from NXT. In the back, we also, speaking of Ricochet, he had a match against Shelton Benjamin, which Shelton Benjamin is a capable talent. We always talk about how there's always this narrative of how he was so close to getting that brass ring as an active competitor. At 44 years old, Shelton Benjamin's on the back half of his career, but this match was kind of flat. I wasn't impressed, besides the fact that Shelton Benjamin is huge on camera. Any other notes from that match?
I thought it was solid, actually. I mean, it certainly didn't set the world on fire, but I've always been a huge Shelton Benjamin fan. I felt like he was someone I really wish made it farther, but I thought it was fine. I think he's great in that role. I think he's a great guy to have against guys like a ricochet so that he can throw him around and then take the hits. And I think he's a perfect example of an enhancement talent because I think he makes people look good. Beating him looks like a big deal still. Like it doesn't look like beating local jobber from Denver would look. So I think he's a great person to have. I'm a huge Shelton Benjamin fan. I wish he got more of a run during his career. Maybe he still will, but I agree he's probably on the back end.
On that theme song, ooh-oh. Ooh, I don't know what the song lyrics are, but yeah, the match itself was pretty solid.
He'll always be "Ain't no stopping me now." Ain't no stopping me now.
I always hum that when he takes that super kick from Shawn Michaels in that clip.
Yeah, and he stops.
Yeah, let's talk about things that should stop. Lana and Bobby Lashley, they're still doing this. And we're arguing about this during the show. You're a huge fan of Bobby Lashley and Lana, this Rusev thing.
We had heated arguments today.
I can't stand that chat roll. I want to see what you guys are. You this pro this storyline or anti storyline? Jack, walk me through her getting a massage with Bobby Lashley while the chat tells me if I'm right or wrong.
I think it's fun.
Did you say? Give me a pen. I'll throw that shit.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. I hate Bobby Lashley. I can't wait to see Rusev get his hands on Lashley and get some revenge. Lashley, we want to see Lashley get beat up, which as a heel, that is what you want to do.
I don't care about Lashley to get him beat up. You can walk off into sunset with Lana for all I care about. These storylines are old and tired and risque, and not to mention the racial undertones. But Lashley's boring. He always will be boring, and this is to make me. And he can't massage to save his life. His technique was terrible. I'm just putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? Why are we watching this at 9 o'clock Eastern?
TK, we need your eye roll for when Flobo made the comment about how to massage. If you could just, we need to have added in.
TK
post.
eye rolls me 5 times an episode, if that. She's always like cocoa butter, whatever, dude.
Speaking of which, I believe Bobby Lashley was using Center in Company.
Stop doing that. No, I won't. You're out of order, sir.
That's fair. But look, we've tried everything with Lashley.
Cut him loose.
We have tried everything.
He's all elite. Let him go.
I don't want him in AEW.
You don't own the company. I don't want him in my.
Listen, no, we at least have a feeling towards him.
Okay.
Right. Whether it's I hate this, I love it, I hate it, whatever. We have a feeling for him now. When he was walking out before, we had no care. One way or the other. When he was out there in that group with Corbin and McIntyre, we were just like, oh yeah, it's Corbin and McIntyre and the other guy.
Right.
But now at least we have a feeling towards him.
The feeling is, this is dumb. He's can't even, to me, it doesn't sound like he's selling it right. I don't buy for a second on screen that he's actually with Lana and he's doing it. It's almost like, I am going to touch you caressively. Look at me. I am Bobby Lashley, Automatron 4000 Almighty. There's no feeling there. There's no feeling there at all.
I'm not saying he's going to win an award. I'm not saying he's going to win a daytime Emmy for his...
Daytime. Me and the morning news are going to win daytime Emmys. Just real quick, the Buddy Murphy match and Cedric Alexander match, we were talking about the idea of cruiserweights and trying to break out of that idea of being a cruiserweight because, Cedric was one of the more prolific cruiserweight champions and Buddy Murphy was the best kept secret, but now they're both bulking up. They're not 205 anymore. Thoughts on the match and thoughts about what that means to be a cruiserweight today?
So I as a long-term WCW fan, I was a big fan of the cruiserweight division, but I've never been a fan of any type of title that restricts who can go for it. And one of the reasons I don't like that is you have the 205 championship, and they have great matches and all that good stuff. But now that we see these guys trying to move on from it, it's hard to not look at them as cruiserweights. They are bulked up. They're definitely not 205 anymore. But it takes so much time. Even Ali, there's this mental block you get that they are a 205 guy instead of being just a great wrestler. I think if they did not have the 205 background, we would just be looking at them as great wrestlers and not guys who used to be 205.
Does that matter, the show itself or the cruiserweight division? Like, if you could be a cruiserweight in the division if there's no 205 Live and then come to the main roster, would the same stigma be there? Or are you saying 205 Live as the program is the reason why we have this block?
I think the title in general, because the same thing happened in WCW. Even when, like Jericho, when he first tried to break away from the cruiserweight division,
right,
he had that stigma for a long time. Now, Jericho's a superstar, so he was able to do
the
it.
Bullet Club, too, yeah.
There's a lot of those people that it's just really hard to break out of that once you get in it. Now, the bonus is you get on TV, because I think a lot of these guys wouldn't have had that chance without it. But I think these two guys are stars. I think they're amazing. I think both of them have awesome matches.
Yeah.
I wish they just didn't have the 205 stigma on them.
So I guess the solution would be like what Impact does with their X division. I guess it'd be like if you can go at a certain level, you can be in a certain division regardless of weight class.
See, I hate that comparison because it automatically sounds bad because it was TNA.
What?
But,
I would not say that at all.
But it's definitely, I would prefer something like that where
Yeah.
if you do it and you don't get stuck with that stigma.
Right.
Because these guys are great. I mean, Buddy Murphy had that match with Roman Reigns recently, and that
Yeah.
was one of his best matches ever.
If it doesn't happen again, you will forget about that.
I think Cedric Alexander is awesome in every way. But again, I think most of us watching this were saying, oh, it's 205 guys. As opposed to where it's different. If it's NXT, people don't look at Aleister Black and say, oh, it's an NXT guy.
True. Some people do, but I don't. We don't.
We don't,
because
yeah.
he's that good. But the main story tonight was the draft. Second night, 6 rounds. I mean, bam! Full coverage. The celebrities are out there. Before we even get into the picks, Jim Cramer, Colin Jones, and Michael Che from Saturday Night Live, Al Roca, the NBC Sports News Desk for NHL, and the Premier League Desk all had their chime-ins about tonight's drafts. Just overall thoughts. I know you have a favorite brand.
Yeah.
But let me know. What's up, Jack?
Overall, I love the presentation. As far as having other sports analysts giving picks and chiming in, it made it feel so much more legit and so much. The problem with before with things like the shakeup is it feels like they just kind of show up that day and go, okay, who do we want to go where? Okay, whatever, we'll just divvy them up. But these little segments made it feel like a real draft. It felt like it mattered. It felt like a big deal.
Yeah.
And it felt like it wasn't just something that's being thrown together for no big reason. I think that Raw stole the roster. They are so. There kept being these rumors about a big trade. I hope it doesn't happen because I cover Raw, and Raw got just about everybody I would want.
Well, Mounge in the chat disagrees with you. He says SmackDown won. So let's go through the picks today and see who is right out there. So, I mean, the first round, Seth Rollins, Charlotte Flair, and Andrade going to Raw. Brock Lesnar, New Day going to SmackDown. Kind of an even thing, I think. Round 1.
Brock's not going to be around. I'm a Brock guy. I'm a Broccoli.
Yeah.
I'm a Brock flock.
Stop
but
with the Brock.
We both know, we all know Brock's not going to be around.
Yeah.
So it's like a non-pick.
It's a non-pick, but you have to have it. You can't not pick Brock. Though.
I don't understand how people can talk.
How many pens do you have?
I don't understand how people can constantly talk about how terrible Brock is, and then he gets picked second, and they're like, "We got ourselves a great pick."
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, second round gets even more granular, right? Rusev and Asuka and Kairi Sane and Aleister Black go to Raw. Daniel Bryan and Bayley go to SmackDown.
Daniel Bryan was one that hurt as a Raw fan. I like Raw. I like Daniel Bryan. That was one of the ones that really hurt.
But as a heel, though.
I like him either way.
Oh, okay.
I like him either way. I think he's just so talented on the microphone. You can believe either way he goes. But I'm lukewarm on Bayley.
Okay.
Lukewarm.
I know you are. I won't get into it.
Maybe not even Luke. Maybe just warm.
Wow. Wow.
But
he is punning Bayley to death.
But it's one of these things. I look at the whole thing overall, right? Because you got to look at Friday as well. You got to look at the fact that they got the OC, they got Orton, they got KO, they got everybody.
A lot of stars are on Monday nights now for sure.
I mean, who did SmackDown get? They got Reigns, they got Brock,
Bray,
they got Bray. Well, Bray's dead. Bray doesn't care. He got burned down.
He's still a name.
He got sledgehammered and burned, and now he's done.
He still has TV time. He's not like a guy who's like in catering. He's still there. He's just dead to you.
Drake Maverick has TV time. What does that mean?
Wow.
Tamina has TV time.
Jack is coming with the heat today, and this is why this is. The third round is the most controversial round of the night. He and I were going back and forth about this a billion times. In round 3, we had, on SmackDown was getting Ali and Shinsuke Nakamura, while Raw got Eric Rowan, Cedric Alexander, and Humberto Carrillo, which I thought was a dope pick, but Jack got so mad, he threw pens at me, even inside. What is wrong with third round, Jack? Tell me.
Oh, they picked this guy. Look,
Humberto Carrillo.
Humberto Carrillo.
Fantastic program.
Look, guess what?
Yeah.
He's a fine guy. Look, he's a great wrestler. Whatever. They picked him before Rey Mysterio. They picked him before Samoa Joe.
I won't go. No, I don't see it that way.
They picked him before all these people.
Mm-hmm.
How do you justify that? If I'm supposed to believe that this is a real draft and that we're trying to pick the best team, how do you tell me without just being a bold-faced liar that Humberto Carrillo is more important than Samoa Joe or Rey Mysterio or all these other people that got picked after him?
Yeah, we're not saying that at all. I mean, Humberto Carrillo is a fantastic talent in 205 Live and NXT brands, but I am the general manager of Raw, which doesn't really exist anymore, but it kind of does. I got my A-lister talents. I got my tag teams. I'm trying to build my mid-card. Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio are important picks, but they're veterans. I don't need them. If they're still undrafted, then go for it. Samoa Joe was injured. Rey Mysterio was in put-over mode. Why not get talent with incredible upside?
Look, this is how you draft well. No one was picking Humberto.
And Raw did. So props to Raw.
So you could have gotten him as a free agent after the show was over.
But Raw got both.
You burned a pick. They could have gotten. Who are the people they picked in that round? Shinsuke
and Ali went to SmackDown that round.
They could have gotten Ali.
Okay.
But they lost him because they picked some dude who's no one even knew he existed.
And they will know who he existed because his pick is the one that goes, are you kidding me?
When you draft, you pick the people that everyone else wants, not the unknown. You sign the unknown later.
You never heard of sleeper wire? Come on, Jack. Gotta give some time.
The sleeper wire's after the draft. But you don't sleeper wire on draft day. You do the sleeper wire after the draft because he's a nobody. I can't stand it. I'm out of pins. This is the worst pick ever. He would have been there for 100 years. 205 didn't even want him.
In the fourth round, Raw got Jinder Mahal. Raw got Jinder Mahal and Buddy Murphy. And R-Truth. And SmackDown got Rude, Ziggler, and Carmella. I think it's cool. You don't like Jinder, but Jinder was a WWE champion. Just, it's cool.
Yeah, he was a champion. Why didn't they pick him before Humberto Carrillo?
Oh my gosh. Hashtag Jack Frost in the chat. Exactly, Marie. This guy is scaring me.
Okay. Are you kidding me?
What? You're deep in the draft now. You're not going to have superstars hanging around.
Samoa Joe was hanging around.
Samoa Joe was injured, but he got picked in the next round. Right? Because Samoa Joe got picked up. It was one that we all popped for. Samoa Joe going to Raw with Akira Tozawa, Shelton Benjamin. SmackDown gets The Miz and King Corbin.
The Miz went after Humberto Carrillo.
I would pick Humberto Carrillo over The Miz. I would. I would. No, actually, I would. No, I'm not trying to be a Trump.
We all saw your draft in the mock. And
it was pretty dope.
The first annual Jack Farmer presents the WWE Fantasy Mock Draftapalooza 2019 extravaganza.
TK Iro. What's wrong with that, man? We're looking for the future. We're picking for things you can build around. The Miz is great. Fantastic talent, but he's pretty much going to be there. He's a perennial bridesmaid. He's all right. Humberto can have an upside.
If there was a poster selling the match, selling a show, and you had Humberto Carrillo on one and The Miz on the other,
that's not how it works.
The Miz is selling the tickets.
You can't do that though, because you can do that to anyone. You can't put Rusev on a poster right now. You can't. You can't put.
You sell more tickets than Humberto Carrillo.
Okay, maybe. I'm just putting even Jinder Mahal. Like Jinder Mahal, you can't put on a poster now in 2019, even though he's a fantastic talent.
He'd sell more tickets than Humberto Carrillo.
Wow,
look, he's a great wrestler. They're all great wrestlers. This is the conversation we always have.
Yeah.
They're all great wrestlers, except some of them should have been picked before him.
Yeah. Some of them. Samoa Joe. Injured Samoa Joe. Should have went. Are you throwing papers? The last round of the night, round 6, Raw gets Rey Mysterio, Titus O'Neil, and Liv Morgan, and SmackDown gets, quote, the one that used to walk with Elias and Shorty Gable. Now, I want to say this, guys, in the chat. For those who've been watching the Monday Raw After Show and AfterBuzz TV, thank you for making us the ESPN TV Talk. People have come to me and say, Flobito, treat Chad Gable with respect. He's an Olympian. How dare you talk about him? How dare you trash him? I've never said Chad Gable's a bad wrestler. I hate playing him in the video games. He's fine. But his name is now Shorty Gable. And they have a Titantron and music. And Stephanie McMahon says, hey guys, SmackDown drafted Shorty Gable. What just happened?
I've said before, I'm so negative today.
Shorty?
I'm sorry, guys.
Heels will apologize.
I've never been a huge fan of Shorty Gable myself. But I've always understood he's got a big fan base. A lot of people like him, so I get it. He's on TV, but it's so funny how the WWE doesn't seem to believe in him. I don't get. I mean, Shorty, that's so. How do you? Could you imagine? What's the thing Jericho says? Like, if you say the name as a world champion, does it sound good? Could you imagine them saying, "And your new heavyweight champion of the world, Shorty Gable"?
I'm not going that far. I just want to see his opponent be like, Shorty, tonight in the middle of the ring, I'm gonna kick your ass, Shorty. It just feels weird.
He's literally become Shorty Gable. It's crazy to me.
I can't say a word about the guy anymore. I can't touch him. They can't make fun of him if the company you work for is making fun of you by calling you Shorty.
I don't get. He's like I said. He's to me. He's always seemed very much like when you are making a wrestler in WWE 2K, but you stop right after you start, and so it's just like the default setting.
Yeah,
that's Shorty Gable to me.
If he comes out with Shorty on his tights, I am done.
Stephanie McMahon literally called him Shorty Gable. I'm blown away by this.
The company's publicly traded, ladies and gentlemen. 6 rounds went to Raw. The draft's pretty much set. There is some spots there for some supplemental drafts or even some trades. We're talking about having a trade. You're going to want the trade. Let's talk about the Liv Morgan pickup. The last pick of the night. Here was somebody got drafted to SmackDown in the Superstar Shakeup. We thought that she was going to do something different with her loss to Charlotte Flair, but then she kind of disappeared. Do you think now we're going to get a new Liv Morgan, or is it kind of a pick that's wasted?
I don't know if we're going to get a new Liv Morgan. I could see that definitely being one of those things that she said on TV, but WWE goes, that didn't count. Let's just keep her the same. We could get a new Liv Morgan. I like Liv Morgan, so I hope we get to see more of her. I think she could be great for a tag team division that desperately needs people.
Yeah.
I could also see her being used in other roles. I definitely was going to say real quick, just to add, I'm interested in if we're going to get a new Elias with the way Stephanie said we used to walk with him.
Right.
So I'm wondering if that was a tease at a new character.
About high time. For him. But it's almost time for us to get out of here. Thank you so much for listening to our post-draft special. If you have any extra pins, please send it to AfterBuzz TV because Jack threw them all away. Jack, where the world find you online when you're not raging at them?
Yeah, you can find me at jackcfarmer.com as well as at RealJackFarmer across all social media. You can also find me on Wednesdays here at AfterBuzz covering the AEW Dynamite show. Check that out as well. It's fun.
Yeah, that's all. You're so pleasant and positive now. It's me, the not Virgil of wrestling here. Flobo Boys over at Twitter, at Flobito on Instagram, and of course, Flobito.com. NXT's this Wednesday. Well, I'm going to be there, probably wearing another Andrade shirt. But until next time, buzz you later.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.